Hey guys, this is Jeff. We're back for part 2 of the 1972 C10 LS swap build series. Today's going to be a short video. Most of these videos are going to be relatively short. They're going to be maybe 5 to 10 minutes max. But today we're going to talk about replacing the rear main seal. Going to get into detail about that. I don't cover everything in these videos, so if you've got any questions, please feel free to leave any comments below. And as always, like and subscribe. And give me some feedback on these things, guys, because this is really my first time getting into this kind of stuff. So if you got any feedback on stuff you'd like to see in these series going forward, let me know. Appreciate it. Thanks and have fun. Okay, so obviously the flex plate bolts were turning because it's not in park anymore, and I don't have anything holding down the pulley up front. So what I did was I had a project several years ago where I had to replace a cam in an old truck, and it was on an LS motor as well. And I bought this little tool thinking I was only going to use it one time. And I don't know if you can see that there, but it connects to where the starter goes in the two starter bolt holes, and then sits on the teeth of the flex plate. So that's there to hold it in place, and hopefully that gives me enough leverage now that I can just unbolt the flex. There we go. Now my original plan is to reuse these bolts. I heard a lot of people say that you can't reuse these bolts, but I've heard also a lot of people say reuse everything, even head bolts. So let me know what you guys think about that, whether or not I should be replacing these bolts at the same time. Alright, now we're down to the rear main cover with the seal integrated into it as one piece. You can obviously punch those out and put a new seal in there, but I went the simple route. Got a Summit rear cover plate. Now it's time to get this rear main cover off. There it is. Rear cover's off. You can see it's leaking pretty bad. I had oil coming out all over here. This should hold it in. So this seal has gone bad too, the gasket in the rear. So obviously that's going to be replaced with the kit as well. And you can see this trusty motor still has its factory cam in there. That will be no more when I'm done. Well, the parts truck has arrived. I've got a lot of new stuff today. So let's get started. I got a rear cover plate. Comes already with a gasket, and it comes with the rear main seal. So let's start by putting that on, and then we'll talk about what else we have left to do. As you can see, I've already cleaned up the surface really good. Gotten all the old gasket material off, so it's nice and smooth everywhere. Also put a little thin coat of oil on here just to keep it protected while overnight. And then I also sanded down the outside of this mating surface, so it's nice and smooth all the way around. Next step, just going to get a little bit of oil on my finger, just to make sure this goes on nice and smooth. My kit from Summit came with new bolts. It has a gasket in place already. We'll just leave that as is. Everything looks fine on it. There's no tears in the rubber seal. Everything looks like it's going to work just fine. And the rear main seal obviously looks good as well. It's a lot more protruded than the old one because it's going to sit on that surface and it's going to seal nicely. Whereas the old one was smushed flat and no longer sealing. So this should help a lot. Get a little more oil here. And again, I'm not putting sealant in the corners because I'm not going to be using this oil pan, so I don't want it to be a problem. And once they're kind of, I'll call it finger tight, I'll put the bottom bolts in to line it up with the oil pan, and then torque these down to 18 foot-pounds. I'm not worried about torquing down the bottom ones. I'm just using the oil pan bolts to align it properly. Looks like it's going to be aligned just fine. Alright. Torque wrench set to 18. Alright, now it's time to get this thing up on the engine stand, and then we can start pulling the heads off, pulling the front timing cover off, doing all that stuff, so that way we can get the AFM DOD piece done, the delete piece done, with the new lifters, clean the heads real good, replace the valve springs, put in an aftermarket cam, the new timing gear set, and all the other good stuff. Probably even a new chain tensioner as well once that kit from Texas Speed shows up. And that'll get us ready to go. I don't have all those parts in here yet, but I can continue with the teardown once I get it up on the stand.